What's up, party people? It's Fit Emmett. All right, I want you guys to think about this idea, and it's called having extreme faith. Because guess what? Faith is the bridge between where you are and the place where God's taking you. All right, your faith can move mountains because guess what? You're coming from a place that's eternal, a place that's deep.
Greater Purpose Chasers podcast, and so excited that you're tuning in. You've made a declaration to yourself that I'm going to be a greater purpose chaser. Not just going to be a purpose chaser, I'm going to be a greater purpose chaser. And the craziest thing is that there's some serious significance behind chasing your greater purpose as to just chasing your purpose. And the significance is that you're chasing just your purpose is just wrapped up in anything that's external. Like chasing purpose could be what you think that your friends are telling you that you should be once you graduate from school. But you're going to be chasing your greater purpose. So God's etched this thing in your soul, your purpose. He's with every product that comes off of his assembly line, he gives like specific task or specific thing to do here on earth, here in this world. And what we're doing is just uncovering that. We're discovering that, and we're not just discovering it, but we're going to try to find ways to maximize your greater purpose on a daily basis. Because as you become better, the world around you becomes better. So you're not just doing it for you. So I always say I'm improving the me for the we. I always have to improve myself, my health. My spiritual walk, and I need to be more connected with God so that others around me can feel that. Other people feel your aura, your energy, the energy that you bring. I want you to bring good, positive energy into this world. So that's why we are greater purpose chasers. So thank you for checking out episode number 2. Episode number 1, we talked about one of the keys to unlocking this whole world of greater purpose. So I'm going to give you the key number 2 to unlocking this world of greater purpose. And that's the question, why? Asking the why. So they say you have not because you ask not. So we're going to go into the questioning part of this thing. So the why. And there's a really popular, really famous author by the name of Simon Sinek. And he has a book called Start With Why. And that's typically a good place to start. But I wanted to start us on episode number 1 with decluttering our space, removing the garbage, the junk, the toxic stuff that's keeping our mind captive and not letting us to free up enough space for goodness, for God, for your greater purpose. So number 1, we wanted to do a cleansing. We have to do a cleansing first. So we have to go about removing those things that are holding you captive to negativity, for toxicity, to not experience good, positive emotions on a daily basis. And of course, if you're not putting good in, you're not able to get good out. So we wanted to cleanse you of all the junk so that you can put God in that space, so that you can put your greater purpose in that space and be and do what God has called you to be and do. So that was number 1, or day 1, episode number 1. Now episode number 2, we're going to ask the question, the why. Like, I wrote down here, God, why am I here? What am I here for? Like, what am I to do? How am I supposed to impact this world? How am I supposed to serve others? So those are questions that you want to ask, or that you want to ask yourself during this. After you cut this off, I want you to take some time within yourself to answer those questions. God, what am I here for? Why am I here? What am I here for? Who am I here to impact or serve? Like, those are just, I know this, it's a short list of questions, but they're really impactful questions. They are really questions that should send you into some deep introspection. And I'm not necessarily here to force my religious views upon anyone. I just know that because of my walk of Christianity and how I've been able to embrace love and hope in my life, I mean, of course, I would quite naturally want that gift, that treasure for other people. So I want you to be able to experience that. But in order to be able to experience that, number 1, you got to set aside the junk. You got to clear out all the clutter, all the external noise that the world tries to bombard you with. Now we're going to ask some serious questions, some earth-shattering, some earth-shaking questions. Like, Why am I here? What am I here for? Like, those are questions that you want to wrestle with. And it's not necessarily going to be I'm going to ask the question one time and the answer is going to come. The famous Bible verse says, seeking ye shall find, seeking ye shall find, knocking the door will be open. Right now, I want you to do the seeking part of this whole thing. We're going to get into the knocking aspect of it next, but right now, seeking. I want you to really seek. So seeking takes on several different phases. Right now, we're just building curiosity. So what happens when you're in a group of people and you hear something really, really interesting being said, or really, really interesting, being discussed amongst your peers? I honestly take whatever was said during that conversation, kind of file it away and say, I'm going to look that up later. And that's essentially what you're doing now. You're going to seek the answers to these questions, and you're going to seek it out within yourself, within the world around you. And now that you've decluttered your space, now that you're operating from a place of clarity and focus, you can actually see it through a different lens. And you're not seeing it through the lens of whatever trauma that you've been through, whatever mistakes you've made, whatever mishaps that you've been a part of in your life. You're not seeing it through those negative lenses. Now you're able to see things through a more positive filter. I received a quote just recently, a couple of days ago. I just posted it. It says, heal so that you're not viewing the world through the lenses or the filter of your wounds. That right there just like kind of rocked my whole entire world. So you're not healing for yourself. I always think about it like, how much better could the lives of others around you be if you were to evolve, become better, like become a better version of you? What is you 2.0? What implications does that have on not only you, but your kids, your employee, employer, the people that you interact with in your volunteer group, your men's group, your women's group, whatever you're a part of? Like, think of how your whole entire world can potentially change. I want to bring a better version of Emmett to the world every single day. I want to bring a better version of me. I want to bring a better husband, a better father, a better spiritual leader, better across the board. But number one, it takes just really surrendering and healing and clearing the clutter, like what we talked about on day one, so that we can operate from a filter, from a different perception. How you view what you do will affect how you do what you do. So if I can view myself or gain a loftier view of where God has me or is placing me in this world, then I can operate from a better perspective. How you view what you do affects how you do what you do. Always remember that. And you always want to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. I'm going to refer back to that one pretty often because the renewing of your mind is not just a one and done kind of thing. It's not a one shot bullet that's going to solve all the world's problems. The renewing of your mind takes effect every minute. For me, like every hour. Because I'm human, there is that human side of me that is not 100% spirit man. It's got a little drop of ego in there. It's got a little drop of cynicism in there as well. Of course, I am a highly faith-based person. If you've ever heard me talk or you've listened to the podcast, you know that my life is built around faith, but there is a touch of cynicism in there. God says you need to have a faith the size of a mustard seed, and that it's a mustard seed sometimes. Sometimes it's a mountain, sometimes it's a mustard seed. Sometimes I'm ready to go, ready to get this thing done, and sometimes I'm like, well, So, that's it. So now that you've cleared the space, now you're making room for the why, for the meat and potatoes, and as we go into this next key, episode number 3, I want you guys to take hold of the post that I posted today on Instagram. You can go back and view it. It says, don't just be a hearer of the word, be a doer of the word. So faith without works is dead. Always think about ways that you can take what you're hearing here and implement it, put it into action, motion. I always think about it like, when I receive a good word, when I'm in my prayer time, like what is God really saying to me? Excuse me. What is God really saying to me? What is He doing in and through me to make me want to or need to or compel me into action? Sometimes it's not necessarily action. Of course, He wants us to hear Him, rest in the silence, rest in the serenity of the quiet, Sometimes not sometimes, a lot of times there's action that's required. Because I always think about it like God being our spotter, in the gym. Before I spot someone, I want to know that you are giving it some effort, that you are putting forth some work. I don't want to be up under you trying to help spot you if you're like, all right, like you're just kind of resting there, like, all right, I think I'm ready to go, and you're not doing anything. Like, so God wants us to do something. There has to be some effort, some energy that's being placed on, excelling or reaching that next phase of our calling, who God's called us to be. Like I said, you're reaching the next phase of your calling is not just for you. It's for the others around you. So this was episode number 2 of Greater Purpose Chasers. I'm excited that you've made the declaration to yourself to be a greater purpose chaser. Make sure you join our Facebook group. Our Facebook community is pretty cool because we have people just like you in the Facebook group that is looking to be more inspired, be more motivated on a daily basis. And that we're trying to celebrate wins too, because we have our 30-day Greater Purpose Challenge that a lot of people are going through right now, that they are rocking it. So we want to celebrate those that have reached the first 15 days. The first 15 days of that 30-day Greater Purpose Challenge is our mindset portion. The next 30 days is the grind set portion, where I'm going to give you action steps or actionable steps that you have to put into motion. Motion creates motion. Faith without works is dead. And always remember, I just want to point to some of the resources before we hop off here. I was totally going to forget, even though they're sitting right here. If you hadn't already, I'm going to point to different resources that's going to help you out in your journey. Number one resource is my book, the Fit for Purpose book that I wrote. Number one, as little background on me, it talks about my history and it talks about my story, but it also goes into the interactive journaling that I did personally. That's here for you to help you walk through with the journaling and my book, your greater purpose, and in discovering your greater purpose and maximizing your greater purpose. And also you've got the Fit for Purpose Planner, which is also a supplemental guide that's going to go along with the book, which kind of helps to frame out your morning journaling and your evening reflection. So your morning start, your purposeful start, will be with the Purposeful Planner, which also has an organizing section in there that'll help you organize your day. And then at the end of the day, of course, it has a list of questions, a couple questions to help you structure your journaling for your purposeful reflection. I'll say this and I'll keep saying this, but there's something special that happens within your brain, with your head and your heart whenever you're writing things down. It further etches it into your head and your heart. So not only are you writing this stuff down in your planner to see it, you're going to see it, you're going to touch it, you're going to feel it, you're going to interact with it. So there's a whole interactive process. Like I really think that writing is like one of those art forms that's like slowly dying. So there are less and less people that actually write, more and more people that are typing, texting. So writing, make sure you don't lose the connection of writing and what it can do for you. I know it's helped me out tremendously in my journey. So pick up a journal and pick up my book. If you have any questions, always hit me up in the group and post all your wins, post all your inspirational content. If you got any cool insights from the podcast, I love to hear them. I love to connect with you. This was Fit Emmett signing off, episode number 2. We'll see you next time for episode 3.
Because not only do you have to have faith, we gotta put some legs behind it. We gotta put some action into it. Movement. We're talking about motion. Because it ain't just about faith. It's about the action you put it with it. Check this out. Faith